What's happening, friends? Welcome to episode 93 of the Game Moose podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Turford, alongside the Broccoli Brock McLaughlin.
Oh, hi. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I got nothing
You
exciting
seem
to say today.
very excited.
No, I didn't think I was going to be first. I wasn't prepared.
I'm going in the order I'm looking.
I thought I'd be the ghost with the most. Drew McMillan on the left-hand
Well, don't spoil
side.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the far end, the ghost with the most, Drew McMillan.
Hey. It's good to be back.
Yeah?
It's good to be back on planet Earth.
Yeah, not other planets, like Destiny planets?
Well, yeah, like I guess planet Earth is like the big planet in Destiny.
I mean, it is one of the planets that actually...
Indeed, it is a planet that you visit.
Yep.
You might even say it's the first planet you visit.
You might say that. So on today's show, as you might have guessed, Destiny 2 is out this week, so we're going to talk about Destiny 2 a whole lot on the show.
Yeah.
We're also going to talk about Knack 2, because the knacking is happening.
Fuck.
And a weird remake from Rockstar is coming out, and we're going to talk about a little bit later. But first, so this week, of course, as aforementioned, Destiny 2 is out this week, guys. I don't know if you knew this.
Ryan, I hate to interrupt you. We should have talked about this before the show. There are two things I want to talk about first.
Oh?
Number one, there's some plugs I want to get out of the way. Number one, the first episode of RoboFlix is now live on the Game Moose channel.
Get hype, motherfuckers.
Yeah. You can hear me wax philosophical about RoboCop.
It's also a YouTube exclusive show, so it's not on the audio feed, just because
right.
I know we do have a lot of audio-only listeners.
Yes.
So you can check that out on the Game Moose YouTube channel. I think you could just search for RoboFlix, I believe it comes up right away, or just search for Game Moose.
Yeah, if you search for Game Moose, alternatively, you can go to game-moose.com/video, and you can see our YouTube feed there as well. You can watch it there.
And I just want to make sure, do you get to see the clip of RoboCop shooting a man in the dick?
Well, part of it, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Brock, YouTube has guidelines. You have to adhere to for content.
Yeah. Another thing I want to talk about tomorrow, for those of you who live in Toronto, I am hosting Trektember at the Farside Bar tomorrow. Farside over in East Chinatown, where I will be watching some episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation on VHS, and I will be talking about them. I curated that list.
That is so incredibly cute.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah. So if you want to see the episodes I selected, I'll give you a hint. Wesley's involved.
Of course he is.
Mr. Wesley Crusher.
You're looking at me like I have any idea what you're talking about, and I do not.
All right.
I don't know anything about Star Trek either, so I'm with you, Brock.
I know there's a Klingon, and that's about it.
Yeah, there are some Klingons. It'll be a good time for sure. Absolutely. Come by Farside, have a few drinks, say what up to me, listen to me blather on about Star Trek: The Next Generation and some of my favorite episodes.
Does that mean there's going to be a RoboFlix episode about your favorite Star Trek movies? Star Trek Generations being one of them?
You know what? I had not planned for that. Strangely enough, RoboFlix seems to be somewhat robot-centric at the moment. Most of the movies and TV shows feature robots. The next one I'm doing is about Westworld, the HBO TV series based on the Michael Crichton movie from the late 70s.
There you go.
I like all the robot boobies.
Yeah, there are robot movies definitely in Westworld. That'll be a topic for conversation.
Woohoo!
Will it?
Yeah, yeah.
All
So yeah,
right,
that's my early plugs out of the way.
Please be excited.
Yes.
All right, getting back to Destiny 2.
Destiny 2.
It's taken the world by storm this week. Holy
Indeed.
crap. A lot of people... Bungie tweeted out earlier yesterday that 1.5 concurrent people were playing yesterday.
Yeah, that's a
across
lot.
both consoles.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
That's almost as many listeners as this very podcast.
Well,
Yeah, they'll get there one day.
yeah.
Yeah.
To put it in perspective, PUBG just set a Steam record this week as well for the second most concurrence at once with 1.2 million.
Wow.
So 1.5 million for Destiny is pretty substantial.
You can really tell with the server stability.
Yeah. Especially opening night. Oh my God.
I don't know if anyone's had any problems with server stability on Destiny 2. That's the first thing
Well,
I
actually,
want to talk about.
other than day one, and then there was one night specifically with PS4 where there was a login issue.
Yeah.
It's been rock solid other than that.
So I'm on the Xbox One, along with friend of the show, Sean Capri.
And Brock.
And
Broccoli.
me. Yeah.
We've left Ryan all alone.
I'm the outlier.
Yeah.
I like that exclusive content though.
Yeah, you got to get them exclusives. I've had lots of problems. I've been booted quite a few times. I think most of them were on like later in the week. Like, so I would guess when they had like the highest sort of like levels of people logging in. So a lot of weird stuff where like even like I'll finish a mission and it goes, it automatically goes back to orbit. So you see like the animation of your ship and it's waiting to load the next story thing or whatever, and then it just booted out.
Oh.
Yeah. Or once it happened to me where like I got the infamous like I'm transitioning to a new area and it just says loading. It just said that forever. A lot of like contacting Destiny 2 servers. So a lot of the error codes, I'm seeing a lot of like Beetle, Centipede. Apparently they fixed some other ones that they said like were more common. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even know what you're
that part sucked, but I've still managed to play quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've only played the story, so I can't really chime in there.
yeah. There's a huge spoiler in the story that we really shouldn't talk
No,
about.
and we're gonna save all story spoilers. I kind of want to talk about story spoilers next cast.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna talk more about the raid stuff and other more end game stuff next.
Yeah.
Next cast. This topic is essentially about sort of what we think about the campaign and then early
Yeah.
Crucible impressions and things like
Yeah,
that.
so just like a lot of these games, they really start to come into their own like late game, and so we haven't played a lot of the late game. We're just getting into the late game loop now. Ryan and I, and Brock's just getting caught up. Yeah,
I'm like level 12.
yeah.
Where are you guys?
So we're 20. So
Okay.
20 is the
20 is
cap,
cap.
and
Yeah.
then that's when you start going into your power levels, your light levels, as it's also known.
Yeah. So yeah, you're like 220, you said, or something like that.
I'm
you remember?
I just hit 230 something. 230 is the milestone you need to pass to unlock Nightfalls.
Yeah, which
So-
are the like heroic raids.
Yeah.
Sorry, heroic dungeons essentially. Whereas I'm 247 on my warlock.
Wowzers.
Get hyped, motherfuckers. Yeah, like 260, 270, 260 is when you unlock the raid content, and then
Yeah.
you want to be in the range of 260, 270
Yeah.
to do the raid.
So let's talk classes. What's everybody playing?
So I just mentioned I'm a warlock.
Yeah.
I'm the ninja guy with the staff.
You're a hunter.
I'm the hunter.
Hunter, Arcstrider Hunter. I have spent a lot of time playing as the Shield Titan, which is the first one that you come with, and then I just recently unlocked I unlocked the Striker, and I just recently unlocked the Hammer Bro.
Yeah.
So I'm playing as the Solar Titan a lot, which I really like. I really like the Shield Titan as well. I like that you have you can select from either the Ward of Dawn or from the Shield, which is pretty cool. And the Ward is really big now, which is crazy cool. But
Well, it's also cool too that they sort of made changes to the original classes,
Yeah.
and likewise with the ones that the new classes essentially have like sort of elements of their original one. Like I think the arc staff, that person you're playing as, Brock, has sort of elements of the sword hunter, which is what it was in the first game, and likewise the Dawn Blade, which is the warlock new class.
which replaces the old
Like increase in attack power one, I think it was, right?
yeah. Well, what happened? Yeah, you got an increase in attack power, unlimited grenades, and you could resurrect yourself.
Yeah, and there are elements of that, like there's attack bonuses
Yeah.
attached to the Dawn Blade class.
Reduced grenade cooldown.
Yeah,
that
things
kind
like
of
that.
stuff. Yeah.
Although I'm
Turn them
still
sounds off. Well, that's embarrassing.
well, I mean, I'm still finding myself playing the Void Warlock, because I just like my my Void burst power, I guess. I also like playing the Arc Warlock as well, which was introduced in Taken King,
Yeah.
because I like being like Emperor Palpatine flying around
Shocking
shooting people with
dudes,
lightning. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still just as satisfying as it was in Taken King.
Yeah. So let's get this out of the way. Destiny 2, is it a good game or a bad game?
Destiny 2 is a real good game.
It is a good game.
I quite enjoying it. I have
Yeah.
no idea what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
not a clue.
You and me both, but
I had
don't
no.
blame
I
you.
didn't. I was not into like Destiny like you guys were, and I have no fucking clue what's going on. But I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
Literally, I just kind of imagine I'm Master Chief and it's Halo 3 like, all over again. That's all I know. I'm like, oh, there's like these weird zombies that are kind of like the Flood evolved.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I'm picturing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Fair
feels
enough.
a lot like Halo, and then there's like a mix of Titanfall 2 in there.
Yeah.
which you like too.
Yeah, yeah. It's got some of that, like the sci-fi stuff. Definitely, there's some stuff that feels very sort of Titanfall-y in terms of like design and look and feel, and then also like traversal. There's a lot of you can jump around really easily and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's the minute-to-minute gameplay. The thing that they didn't need to fuck with, they didn't fuck with. If anything, they made it tighter.
yeah, they tweaked it a bit, but for the most
Yeah.
part, it feels pretty similar to the original Destiny, which is good because that was the one thing about Destiny 1 that I always liked.
The shooting is really, really solid. The movement is like the movement speed feels good. The jumping feels good.
I love the villain designs. I think the characters look amazing.
They've improved the character design. Like, and when I was looking at it, like from like YouTube videos and stuff, I didn't really appreciate like how much they've tweaked them and how much they refined them. They look really good.
There's a lot of detail.
Yeah.
My guy looks really lame, and I can't find any cool gear. But
You will.
eventually,
Yeah.
I got a little cape yesterday when I was playing with
Nice.
Sean Capri, and I
Yeah.
got really excited.
Woo!
I'm like a Batman.
Yeah. I have a cool skirt.
Oh.
It's camouflage.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what Titans get: skirts and loincloths.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got a cool band. It's like a little like wristband, essentially.
Yeah.
That's what Warlocks gets.
Yeah.
Did you teabag people in your skirt?
I have not teabagged anyone. I've played very little Crucible. I played 2 matches, which is the bare minimum, basically.
I'm all about the Crucible and that was true for Destiny 1 too. Like I was I'm more in line with the Crucible. Like that's how I like to play this game more. So like that's sort of how was like my main way of leveling was more through Crucible and less through the campaign. Like I basically was like level 16 before I even went to Titan.
Yeah.
Because I was just doing Crucible.
I really of the 2 matches of Crucible I played, I really enjoyed it. It felt really balanced. I didn't feel like I was getting my ass handed to me, like which is usually the feeling I get when I play multiplayer games because I'm an old man with slow thumbs and bad eyes. Like it really felt like I was holding my own. As a matter of fact, I was doing pretty well in Crucible.
Yeah.
But like, I put 300 plus hours into the last Destiny, so
Yeah.
I would hope that would be the case. So it's really good. Again, the balance feels better than Crucible and Destiny 1. They had a lot of problems with balance in Crucible and Destiny 1. Like, they kept retweaking things.
The only issue I ran into is that playing Crucible at low level, you are at so much more of a disadvantage, both from your ability standpoint and from the weapon standpoint.
Yeah.
Because even though the power levels are all scaled, so there's not disparity between levels, like just using an exotic weapon that has a modifier on it is so much better than like a green assault, like an auto rifle you would have at Brock's level, for example. Like
so, like things like the mods and having multi abilities on like legendaries, because there'll be some like guns that have like more than one effect. They'll have like things that like make them more accurate or whatever, and then exotics have like the extra sort of abilities that do like really crazy things. Those sorts of things really make. It really makes a difference. Basically, the more ability, the more utility you have, the more flexibility you have as a character, just anywhere. And that really makes the gameplay.
Is the story scaled at all? Because it feels very easy.
No, it's scaled to like it basically when you highlight a campaign mission or when you start it up, it'll say recommended light level is this.
Yeah.
That's what it's scaled to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm just mowing through it.
Yeah.
Like no problem.
Because there's no difficulty settings either,
No.
because it is a shared world game. So
Yeah.
everything's set to the same level.
Especially when I was running some of the story missions with a full fire team, like we're just hammering through those things.
Yeah.
That's when I really powered through the end of the story.
Now the end of the story is a lot harder if you're solo. I can attest to that because like the it actually the scaling ramps up quite a bit.
Yeah.
So you'll eventually get to the point when you're closer to the end of the campaign where you might have to grind a little bit for gear.
And
you probably won't have to, but
they also throw like the last few story missions, like just the volume of guys coming at you gets a little crazy. It gets really hard to do crowd control if it's just one person, especially if you don't have things like a decent like rocket launcher, grenade launcher to like again do crowd control, and if your grenade cooldown is not awesome, stuff like that. Yeah.
Why hasn't Bungie figured out how to make driving fun? Because that tank feels like you're driving a tank from Halo 1, and it is not enjoyable.
Yeah.
Did
That
you-
level was so good up until the tank, and I hated it.
well, we talked about this before we went on the air. Did you have? I wonder if you had the same problem Drew did, where you couldn't steer properly.
Yeah.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
I couldn't-
It kept going backwards and shit. It was brutal.
The problem I had was I literally couldn't turn left and right with the tank. It wouldn't, no matter what, it just went forward and backwards. So if I hit left on the left stick, so like unlike in Halo, you go forward and back with left stick, and then whatever direction you're pointing, it will eventually right its way to that way, right? In this, it's the left stick is all movement, the right stick is all turret. And when I move the left stick left, it would go forward, and when I move the right stick right, it would go backwards. It wouldn't turn left or right at all, and it drove me fucking crazy.
You couldn't use the turret, though, like to shoot.
Yeah.
Even like if you were playing with someone else. You couldn't have them get in the car.
No,
and like
it's-
shoot, which I found really weird.
Yeah, it's only one person in the tank, and you can't get multiple tanks until later in the level. because eventually you'll reach a spot where there are things that'll spawn tanks. So like basically for that first section of it, they basically have to either ride along their sparrows if they're level 20, which they probably aren't if you're doing that, or like just run along behind them.
You know what's hilarious too is that if your tank gets destroyed in the middle of that mission, good luck. You have to walk the whole way.
Yeah.
There was like 3 tanks there when I got there.
No, I mean like
They're
if you
sitting
get in between tank spawn points
Oh,
and your tank gets
brutal.
destroyed,
You have to walk all
you
the
have
way
to
back.
walk the whole way back or walk the whole way forward.
Oh, brutal.
And then you'll have enemies that are scaled for fighting them in a tank, but you're on foot.
It really felt like there were certain levels, especially in the story, that were designed with the idea that you had your sparrow, but almost certainly you won't, because you don't get your sparrow until 20.
Yeah.
Right. So there
Well, you can get it before then, but
If you
can
grind
get
it
it through a
out.
drop,
if
right?
you get it through a drop because I actually got mine at level 12 through Crucible as a
okay.
Crucible drop.
So like for me, like otherwise the only place you can get them is from Holiday, and you don't see her until 20,
Right.
or until you finish the story. So like there are a bunch of things where like, oh, I guess I'm just gonna have to run this long winding path now, and that was really lame.
But in a way, I actually liked that they did that because, and again, this is me coming from an MMO background, because in most newer MMOs, what they do is they have you either walk or they might give you a slightly faster run option because they want you to explore that world. So I felt like much more connected with the worlds this time around because I wasn't just jetting around them in a Sparrow this time.
Yeah, I agree. It forced me to kind of stop and take a look at things, which was cool.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the change in like the weapon assignment? So now we've got your first slot is kinetic. That's like your main weapon. It will never have some kind of energy effect on it. So energy effects are for like taking down certain enemies. Tougher enemies and heroic enemies will have shields that are keyed towards a certain element. So like arc, solar, void. So if they have a purple shield, you shoot them with a void gun, and then their shield explodes and does like an AoE effect against guys around them. Same with arc and solar. But that's reserved for your second slot. So your second slot is energy, and those can be anything, right? So like you can have an auto rifle that's kinetic in your main slot. In your second slot, you can have a pulse rifle that's void, or you could have a hand cannon,
Or you could have double auto rifles.
or you can have double auto rifles. You could auto rifle, which is crazy.
Yeah. You can't double sidearm though, because sidearms are exclusively
Energy
weapons.
Yeah, but there are submachine guns which can be kinetic, and they're quite cool. They're kind of like a halfway between an auto rifle and a sidearm.
Yeah, and then the power weapons have a bunch of new options because it used to just be rocket launchers and I can't remember what they were in the last game. But this time it also has sniper rifles and shotguns, which were in your second slot before, as well as the fusion rifle and some other stuff.
Yeah, so
swords.
Fusion rifle. Yeah, so now you got swords, rocket launchers, grenade launchers. And cool stuff like that. So one of the things that I really like is that I got an exotic grenade launcher that goes in my energy weapon slot. It's called the Fighting Line.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
it is really awesome. It's really fun. Like you have to hit dudes with it as a really, really slow reload, but yeah, kind of looks like Baby Galhorn. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, I have questions.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys have answers.
Cool. Ask
Maybe.
questions.
We might have-
Noob alert. Do I want to be dismantling all my weapons and gear that I don't use?
If especially if it's under your power level, definitely.
Yeah.
Almost certainly.
Because eventually there will be a point in the game where you'll get exotic or legendary weapons. And what you can do is if you get like a blue item or a green item, let's say, that's a higher level than it, you can then use that to basically boost the power of your legendary or exotic weapon, which is what you want to sort of do in the late game. But sort of going through the leveling process, I would sort of just dismantle what you have.
Yeah.
Because those dismantle items don't let you craft gear, but it lets you add reputation to the gunsmith, which then rewards you with legendary
items. Yeah. So like one of the things that happens is everybody will go through this if you play through the story first, which you should, because that unlocks a bunch.
Yeah, you kind of want to just crack the story out as fast as you can in this game, I think.
You will get a choice between 6 exotics at 2 points during the story, 3 and 3. And they'll be tailored towards.
Is that the yellow?
Yes.
I just got my first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like you get your first one, you can get it like around between level 8 and 12, somewhere in there. And your second one, I think it ends up being probably around level 15, 16.
Yeah, it's close to the end of the campaign, and it's
So they'll be relatively low in power level, right? So you'll at some point you will have blues that are higher than it because you'll hit level 20, and you'll definitely have like chess pieces that are way higher than your exotic chess piece you got at 11. So you'll want to hang on to at least one of them to infuse, so that you can bring that exotic up, because those exotics are really good. They have amazing perks, and you'll want to. So you'll hang on to those exotics. First of all, don't get rid of them. Don't dismantle those, and don't dismantle, like, especially when you hit 20. Don't dismantle everything. Like, you can periodically infuse things, but like the other part of infusing is it requires legendary shards.
Yeah.
So to infuse something, you have to dismantle a legendary weapon,
which are purples.
Which are purples to do it. So if you have like a low level purple that you know you're not going to use anymore, there's a good chance you might want to dismantle that, so then you can, for example, infuse your exotic. So you have to make some choices there. So it might not be a bad idea for a little while, especially to hoard your purples and whatever till you hit 20, so you can start getting a sense of what do you want to boost.
But as far as greens and blues before the end of the campaign, unless it's to infuse on your exotic, the one exotic you picked up, I think it's okay to dismantle those.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, because once you get to 20, that's when you start to want to be a little more careful with what you sort of diffuse and what you don't.
Yeah. So also, like, we've noticed Ryan and I are in sort of the end game loop now. The the advancement really slows down,
on purpose, because again, that's just typical for the game like this.
So like during the campaign, as you're leveling up, you're getting stuff that's like, like if you're power level like 110, you're getting stuff that's like 120, 123, 125, right? Later on in the game, if you're like power level like 220, you're getting stuff that's like 226, 228, right? Like it really, really gets, like.
Although I noticed once you get closer to 250, the closer you get to 250, the more it actually starts jumping again. Like, but with certain activities, like I noticed that a lot of the stuff I'm doing now, like I'm now getting a lot bigger chunks in power than I was before on the onset.
Yeah. So there, my two biggest complaints with the original Destiny were, number one, the original narrative, the original story was stupid and awful and didn't play out very well.
Yeah.
This one, it has its problems.
Yeah. It's not a perfect campaign.
We were talking about that, like there's some pretty glaring plot holes in it. Like, if getting your light back is such a big deal, why are some people like the first thing that happens in the
Are we going into mild spoilers here?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you have to know this.
So
the first thing that happens basically is you get your light back, because otherwise, like, how do you play the game?
Yeah.
Right.
And that was something we speculated before the game came out, like how they would transition that. Like, would you be infusing the darkness instead?
Yeah, and how that happens is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The story that they sort of ginned up for that was fun, and they have these cool special missions for like getting your power back, which are really neat, and also to get your subclasses. They're similar. They're geared towards like just a solo player experience. You can't do it in a fire team, and it's really cool. It's really fun. But
because each one's unique to like what makes that class sort of viable, or what its strengths are.
There's a bunch of characters later on in the game who are bitching and moaning that they don't have their light back, and you just kind of want to go like, well, can't you just do what I just did?
Can't you just go to the trap?
Can't you just go over and just do the thing that I did before? Like, and it seems like a bunch of other Guardians are doing it, because I can see them running around on Titan like crazy. I saw a bazillion Guardians with their light on IO. Why are you bitching and moaning that you don't have your light? That part really didn't make any sense to me. But then, and then there's some stuff like the very end game. There's like a real, I don't know, like Space Baby kind of like 2001: A Space Odyssey kind of thing that happens. And you're like, wait, but what does any of that mean? And nobody stops and goes, so this is what happened, or this is what, not even, or even like, this is what we think happened. Nothing. It's just like that event happens, and you just kind of go, okay.
It's left for your own interpretation.
Yeah.
All I know is there's some light, and that's about all I'm getting out of the story. Like, not a clue.
No, and I mean, let's call a spade here. I mean, I wasn't really expecting the story to sort of blow our socks off or anything in a game like this. It's tough to do a campaign in a shared world experience game like this. Again, this is more just me coming from my MMO shared world background, because I've played so many of these games before. Even like something like Morrowind that you and I played earlier this year, like they were really trying to amp up the story a lot with that game, but it like totally fell flat for that reason, because it's so hard to tell that type of story in this universe, especially when it is a multiplayer centric game like this.
Do I want to be using my gold for anything? I have so much money.
Gold?
Or Glimmer?
Glimmer?
Not really.
Yeah, I've never run out of Glimmer. I did in Destiny 1 a few times, but not in this. It's hard to like Glimmer. You can use to buy gear at lower levels, but it's usually pretty shit.
The gear, every gear I've seen is useless.
Yeah.
Like way underneath.
It's just, it's usually just way better. Just
there were a few occasions like incrementally be like, oh yeah, well that helmet's better. I'll just buy that quickly now. That'll just give me a little bump. But especially like after 20, there doesn't seem to be. So far, I haven't seen anything that you can buy with Glimmer that does anything decent.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
And everything seems really cheap too. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna run out of money anytime soon.
No, I think what Glimmer is more used for is the aim game stuff with diffusing your equipment.
Yeah.
Infusing equipment.
Yeah,
stuff.
when you infuse, you have to use Glimmer as well. You also have to use Glimmer to add mods, which apparently are a really big part of the late gameplay.
Are really big.
Yeah, so you can do things like you can change. If you have an energy weapon, you can change the
like the type.
You can change the energy type. You can change the element type on it. If you have
mods, can also add abilities and other modifiers that will really help you in the late game stuff.
So like all those little things that the weapons have, like things like like steady hand and that kind of stuff, you can get mods that will specifically like add those things to your weapons, and that's really 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 powerful. So it becomes a point where like guns become more interesting or more compelling if they have the more slots they have, not necessarily what actual abilities they have. Though that can sometimes you'll just get an awesome roll on it, but you're less chained to how good a roll is it on this weapon. As a matter of fact, I don't think weapons are that. I know that there's no random rolls on power anymore for weapons.
That is correct. Yeah.
So there's like used to be like you get guns that did X amount of. You can have like 4 different guns with the same name. They were all the same auto rifle, and they all did slightly different damage.
Yeah.
From my understanding,
that does happen.
That does happen.
Yeah. But all the abilities and stuff are exactly the same on all those different versions. Whereas before it used to be like a random roll how that works.
And you don't have to unlock them. When you get them, they all have all their abilities.
Right.
From what I can tell.
Yeah.
I've never run into something where like I have to go in and like level up my gun like you did in Destiny 1. Yeah. Everything's unlocked. You just choose from things.
Yeah.
It's more about finding mods and adding mods to your weapons to make them better.
Yeah.
And you can't do like there's certain weapon mod things that you can't do until I think it's 250.
Yeah.
And then there are other like you can find like rare mods earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like legendary mods you can't do until 250, which apparently again.
Yeah, because I have a whole bunch in my inventory. I'm just waiting to go 3 more light levels to be able to use them.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are other quick tips and tricks that people should know?
I mean, when you get an engram, the thing in Destiny 1 was don't use your engrams right away. Engrams, basically, you trade them into a vendor at the farm, and they give you an item.
Yep.
You just use them right away this time.
Yeah.
So if you have if you get a whole bunch of those, because those are the things you want to get gear is engrams.
I have some.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they basically will just be once you turn them in, they'll give you an item geared to whatever level you're currently at.
Yeah.
And that's how it works this time around. Whereas before, you would save a whole bunch of them up till you get to max level because they were scaled on whatever level you were at that time. Whereas in Destiny 2, it's just whenever you pick them up.
Yeah. Yeah. Their power level is determined by what your maximum possible power level is when you pick them up, not what your power level is when you cash them in.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of the things I've noticed is really nice is that when you get rewarded engrams for vendors that are in the field, like so like there are people who like live out in the world and they'll give you missions and stuff like that, and you earn reputation with them, like you trade things in with them and stuff like that. And as your reputation goes up, they'll reward you with things, and more often than not, they'll reward you with engrams. The nice thing is, so that you don't have to leave the area. When you get an engram, it automatically decodes it for you. You don't have to go back to the tower.
That's the way it works for any of the reputation ones, yeah.
Which is nice, because otherwise it lets you stay in the field longer. It's another thing they did. Like it used to go back to orbit every single time. Now you can fast travel around maps. All that kind of stuff. That makes these little gameplay tweaks really make the game a much smoother, a lot more fun experience. Yeah.
Also, again, speaking of reputation, again, just make sure to grind them out. If you don't know how to get reputation, number one, public events. So if
Yes.
you see public events in your area, doing them actually is a lot of fun. You get, especially if you're leveling, because some of them give you a big chunk of experience, but you also get some rare items from it. Plus, it'll give you reputation tokens that you can trade in for engrams that Drew was just talking about.
I really like the public events.
Yeah,
I
they're
keep
really fun.
finding myself doing them. I'm like, I'm gonna do the story. I'm like, shit, the
But
world
there's this going
needs
on
me.
over there, right there.
Yeah.
Let's go do it.
Okay.
One of the cool things about the public events too is I found this out the other day. I didn't know about this. Apparently, this was out there. There are heroic versions of the public events.
There are, yeah.
Basically, how you get there is you trigger certain things. So based on whatever public event you're doing, you have to perform certain actions, and then that will determine. Then basically they become harder, but you get better rewards.
Yeah. Now, some of the heroic ones are just if you have a certain number of players doing the public event, it triggers automatically.
Yeah.
But there are some of them where there are certain enemies, for example, that you're not supposed to kill, or certain areas that you're supposed to stand in or not stand in.
Yeah.
And whether or not you do that is what triggers the heroic event. So it's cool that it's varied like that.
One of them is like there's like a Cabal public event where like there's a dropship that shows up. If you shoot down the dropship, which you can do now, then that will trigger the heroic mode, and then like a really hard boss will drop and you have to kill him, and then yeah.
But that's how you get like exotic engrams and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Exotic engrams like guarantee an exotic item, which for a Destiny noob, exotic items are the best items in the game.
Yeah,
But
but
the yellow ones are the ones you want.
and you can only have one equipped as a weapon and one equipped as an armor at any given time. So you can't have like all exotic weapons and all exotic armor. You can only have one piece of exotic armor at a given time and one weapon at a given time.
Could I get an exotic space wife?
No.
That's not a piece of equipment.
That's part of the DLC 2.
Oh,
pack
perfect.
coming.
Perfect. So I can't get married. So this is an MMR.
No.
I can get married in. Okay.
No.
No.
Well, that's a real bummer.
I know
Yeah.
it's not
Because
like
it's lonely out there in space.
I mean, that's just one of the reasons why this game's not as good as Final Fantasy 14 Stormblood,
Jesus
where you can
Christ.
get married in that game, Brock.
yeah.
So you brought
Also-
it upon yourself this time.
Also, Brock, women aren't property.
Yeah, there's this
I
game.
get that. You know, I was gonna romance them at the local Pizza Hut in space.
Now, to be
okay?
fair, Brock, I play a girl in Destiny, so there's that too.
I'll come romance you.
Yeah.
Please don't.
The,
We're on different platforms. I'm
the only
sorry.
way to romance other players is to actually interact with them and
in
you
real
know,
life.
So by dancing and doing like a little
yeah,
little
you
jig.
do the little sexy dance.
Why
and
do you-
if they decide they're into
Why do you
it.
think
I-
Sean Capri was dancing with you?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Brock hard over here.
Yeah,
Jesus.
there's no hump emote, unfortunately.
Damn. Not that we know of.
No, not yet. It could be some exotic that's buried. So there now there's lots and lots of emotes. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the
elephant in the room? The shaders?
the microtransactions.
Oh God.
Well, the shaders are an aspect of this. So there are a bunch of microtransactions in the game. There is the Eververse Trading Company, which was in Destiny 1. They added that late into Destiny 1. That was not in launch Destiny 1.
And they still do their dealings in silver, which was
Yes.
the currency in Destiny 1.
Yeah, so what you did was you went to the Eververse, you could buy silver for real money, and then exchange that silver for what are called bright engrams. And then bright engrams would decode into certain cosmetic things, random cosmetic things. They're kind of like the treasure chests in other like
Or loot
big
boxes in Overwatch.
Yeah,
is
loot
the
boxes
best
or
example.
treasure things in Dota 2 or whatever. So they'll give you random cosmetic things. They
Things
will
like new ships, new sparrows, emotes.
emotes, shaders. They can also give you gear, but the gear is at power level 10.
Yep.
So the gear is never going to be, it's not going to be anything good. It's essentially cosmetic only, and only then, like, you have to infuse it to get it up to your level. So if you want to have really, really, really good gear, you still have to do the work of going out and playing the game. You can't just buy your way into a level, like a power level 300 character. You can't do it.
Is shaders like a die? Like in Diablo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. In the old game, a shader was you had a shader and you could just apply it to your armor, and then that was it. It went to all of your armor, your whole body, and you could just turn it on or off. In this one, each individual piece of equipment can have a shader, but the shaders are one-time use only. Whereas before, shaders were if you used it.
Like once you've earned it, you've earned it.
You've earned it and you had it. And this one, you get X number of them. Oftentimes they get dropped in packs of 3 or 5. And then once you use it on a piece of equipment, it's gone. That's it. You never.
I haven't found any shaders, but I hate the colors of my clothes.
Yeah, you get them closer to the end of the game, or
Yeah.
when you do
okay.
Crucible. or strikes. Like that's usually when you get them. You can also get them from certain public events
Yep.
as well, but it's like specific ones.
Yeah, and those shaders can be applied to anything. So weapons, every single weapon, including exotics, can have shaders.
Your ship or your sparrow.
Your ship, your sparrow, every piece of armor can have a different type of shader. So you could have like a pink helmet and a green body and like orange pants and like a black rocket launcher and a yellow assault rifle if you wanted to.
Is your sparrow the question mark in your menu with like your guns and stuff?
No, it's not. That's probably your clan banner.
Oh.
Which is another thing we should probably talk about. If you're not in a clan, get in a clan.
Because they offer certain bonuses.
Yeah, you get crazy bonuses. You earn clan XP for doing certain things, and then clan XP will also let you earn legendary engrams and stuff like that. So it's really worth doing.
We will tweet out some clans from the Game Moose Twitter account.
Yeah, you can join Narcats if you want, which is the clan that I've been in for a very long time.
I'm gonna come join you.
You can come join Narcats.
Awesome. Are you human? Are you like a male?
Are you kidding me? There's an option to be a robot.
I know.
in
I'm
this
a
game.
robot. I'm a sad robot who
don't say.
lost his family.
Yeah.
Yeah. The robot looks dope. I
Yeah.
had to go with the robot.
Yeah, so Exos. So there's one fun surprise that's now out there in the wild that everybody knows about. If you are playing this game and you are continuing from a previous game, there's a cool thing at the beginning where like it goes through like your memories, your achievements from Destiny 1, which is really fun because then it shows you like the different milestones that you completed in Destiny 1, like the different raids you completed, but it also shows you the names of the people you finished it with.
I was super jealous of that feature. Not playing the first one, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it was really neat.
Really cool.
It also gets to bring your character over as well. So like you already have characters in your character slots from the first game. Like
So-
I had my warlock that I'm playing now, which is an awoken female, was already there. Like I just picked up with the same character.
Yeah, I have a badass Exo. His metal is all like black, and he's got red eyes, and he's got mean eyebrows.
It sounds like we kind of made the same guy.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Like you guys are the same person.
A sexy mean robot.
yeah. Sexy
Sad.
mean robot.
Sexy mean sad robot.
Yeah.
Also, I should mention the female faces are all really terrible in this game.
That's what I found about the guy face. I thought they were brutal. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
The guy faces are slightly better, but the female faces are all like real bad.
For the Exos specifically,
No, just for any race.
just for any race.
Yeah.
but like the
They're way worse than the first game.
really that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Because
There's
I'm
one
not
of
the
things
only
I-
one who said this either.
Yeah.
Like it's all over Twitter.
One of the things that I've noticed is that the in-game models and the CG models for like the Vanguard are fucking amazing. They look beautiful. The in-game models for the other NPCs that you meet, like Devram K or Sloan or even Asher, they all look kind of shitty. They don't look great. You're like. They don't animate nearly as well. It's obviously spent a lot more time on the Vanguard than they did anyone else. Yeah. So
Good boys.
it's a good game.
Yeah.
It's a surprisingly good game.
Yeah, we were pretty worried. I didn't think I was going to pick it up.
Well,
but
especially
I am very
you and-
glad I did.
You and I, Brock, both not being original Destiny fans.
Yeah.
Like Destiny 1 was a game I really wanted to like, and I never liked it. Like even like with the flat campaign, or even like the terrible end game for that game. Like,
Yep.
and plus I've never done a Destiny raid before, so I'm interested to see how that's going to
Even
work.
if I finish it at level 20 and never play it again, I would be pretty happy with my purchase. I think it's a great action game.
That's exactly how I felt too.
Yeah.
Like once I finished the campaign, I'm like, you know what? Even if that's all I did, I would have been okay with it.
Yeah, it is really fun, and the action is super tight.
Yeah. So my biggest problem with the game was like, first of all, like I love the story. I think the lore for Destiny and the idea for Destiny and like the presentation was really cool, and it really drew me in. And then it was all fragmented and weird and didn't make any sense. This one, I mean, there's still a little bit of that because they still want to have this sort of like mystery box kind of flavor to it, which I get. So like all the power to them, but they still go out of their way to explain some things now. There's still some stuff where like they'll stop and they'll say like, oh, this weird thing. And then like your ghost will be like, yeah, this is weird. Like at least they acknowledge. Like that was my biggest problem with Ghost in the first game would be like, he'd have dialogue where he'd say like completely nonsensical things and he'd be like, why are you assuming I know anything you're talking about? Like this doesn't make any sense.
I don't like the voice of the ghost at all.
Oh, you don't like Nolan North?
No, I'm not a big fan.
He kind of does like a very kind of fun, kind of goofy.
I find it super cheesy.
I actually felt that similarly until there was one planet that you might not be at yet, Brock. I kind of want to talk about when we talk about spoilers, where I'm like, his banter back and forth with the person on that planet is awesome.
Yeah.
But
Asher is a great character. That's who I assume you're talking about.
well,
No,
the other one.
Failsafe?
Failsafe.
Failsafe is great. Everyone Failsafe is
but
awesome.
Specifically, Failsafe and Ghost's interactions with each other is just hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. There's at one point there's one mission that I did where like Ghost is reading out a transmission, a Cabal transmission, and he opens with, "Okay, I'm gonna read this, but just know that I don't know what any of this means. Like this is really weird. Like at least he's admitting that this is very strange, right? Yeah. So like there's no like we have to find the head of a Gate Lord. And be like, at no point do you say like what's a Gate Lord? Like if you don't know what a Gate Lord is, he'll go to like we have to find the head of like what is a Gate Lord? I wonder what a Gate Lord could be. It's nothing. No.
Yeah.
And he just like quotes stuff in the first game that doesn't make any sense. Like how do you even know this? And yeah, it's the story is very, very good, and then the way they inject the lore into it is really cool. So I really enjoyed that. Like you said, the narrative isn't perfect; it has its problems, but I think they did their best with what they could do.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, it's so hard to do it for a game like that, especially when you're with like they have to tailor it so that the stakes are high, but you're also in a shared universe with everyone else. It's really hard to do storytelling like that.
And also the other thing too is in Destiny, once you played all of the story missions, that was basically 90% of the content.
Yep.
Right. In this, the story missions represent probably about 30% of the content. I still have like what feels like maybe like 24 adventures that I have to do.
Well, there's not just adventures. There's also side quests once you finish the game too that you have to do that unlock all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah.
And then again, there's the PvP on top of that and strikes.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot to do when this game's
so like
over.
yeah, so I have a ton of adventures that I still have yet to do, which are very like are more sort of like guided content. They're kind of like very like much more filled out patrols from the first game, but they feel like they're like on par with the quality of the story missions from the first game.
They have a lot of really unique mechanics that
Yeah.
make them like feel very different from each other too.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I really liked about
Yeah,
them.
so I have tons of adventures yet to do. There's also lost sectors, which are really fun, where it's like you just kind of like explore a corner of the map, and then there's a boss at the end, and you really get really great rewards, and you can do those pretty fast, which I really like. Like if you really want, like I had about half an hour before I had to leave to come over to the studio to record the podcast. I'm like, I really want to bang something out quick. Okay, I'll do a lost sector. And I got some great gear for it, and it was fun, and it felt like I was exploring some like forgotten corner of the world. It like, you know, they're like the dungeons of the game. That was really, and there's tons of those that I haven't done. And then there, at a certain point, you unlock patrols. I have no idea what patrols are like.
They're actually pretty much like the patrols from the first game.
Right. So that might be like kill X number of guys or whatever, right?
Yeah, like it's something very small to do in your limited area. I don't think they give you very good rewards, but you also do them in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's sort of the risk reward kind of thing.
Yeah. And then like the Crucible, and then we haven't even unlocked the raid yet. And I don't know if you guys have you found the item, the raid item yet?
I have found the raid item. Yes.
Yes. So there's a weird random item that you'll get, and you'll say, "What the heck is this?" And then you have to do something and basically max it out, and then it just basically says, essentially, wait for the raid.
There's actually a few items that are like that. There's more than one.
Ah, very interesting.
There's actually 3 that I'm working on right now.
Ah, very cool.
Like I finished one of them, but then there's 2 more in my inventory,
Right.
and they have like really crazy, weird objectives.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're not tracked either. Like you have to go back to your inventory and keep checking.
And look at the item. Yeah.
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 Because you have to sort of figure it out yourself.
Yep.
One's like, oh, figure out this weird puzzle using rats. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? And I look it up online.
That might be. I'm pretty sure that's an exotic one.
That is an exotic one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really cool. So there's a really cool exotic called the Rat King. I think it's the Rat King.
Yeah.
It's a sidearm, but its exotic ability is really neat. The more people that have it in your fire team, the stronger it gets. Which, you know, people have seen what it's like when there's 3 people that have it. People are really excited to see how awesome it gets when all 6 people in a raid have it. That's going to be really cool. It's a sidearm. It's got rats on it. It's cool.
Sidearms are cool, by the way.
But that's a really cool sort of like gameplay mechanic that, you know, I can't think of another game that's done something quite like that.
MMOs do that too with like any of the legendary items in World of Warcraft
Yeah.
follow a very similar progression to that.
That's cool.
So that's how
really
you would obtain them, like the earlier ones, not the newer ones in Legion, but stuff like Wrath of the Lich King. That's how you get Shadowmoor, is by doing like all kinds of weird objectives like that.
What I mean specifically, though, is that I can't think of a multiplayer game where, like, if people had multiple things of a weapon in a party, that weapon became better.
There's a staff in Cataclysm that was like that.
Cool.
Yeah, that was
awesome.
legendary in that game.
Yeah. So this is I'm really excited to see, because no one's played the raid yet, because the raid doesn't launch until Wednesday.
Yep.
We
We should be able to talk about that next show, because I really want to find a raid party this week. And
Which is why, like, what we're talking about right now isn't a quote unquote final review of the game.
Yeah, especially because we sort of need to wrap this up, and I haven't talked about Crucible,
Nope.
or Strikes or anything like that, and I want to talk about that next week. So
So more Destiny 2.
More Destiny 2.
There's more content coming too. I'm really excited about, like, before I was very hesitant. I did not buy the expansion pass because I was like, well, I'm not going to buy the expansion pass sight unseen. If the game turns out to be shit, which is what happened with Destiny 1, I was like, well, especially the first expansion for Destiny, The Dark Below, was not good.
Yeah.
So this one says really cool. They've dropped hints about it.
Well, I have a whole news story about this. We're going to talk about this in a bit.
And we know it's about Osiris.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
In fact, there's like a whole story leak about this, so it's great. Also, one thing before we move on to Knack 2, of course, is that the music in this game is amazing.
Yes.
As someone
it is.
who loves audio design, good audio design in video games, like this is one of the best soundtracks this year. The way the story sort of integrates music into it is just amazing. Like and the score is just incredible, top to bottom.
So admittedly, I miss Marty O'Donnell's touch. I can really tell that it's missing.
Yeah.
But hey, good news. No shitty Paul McCartney song in this one.
Yeah, thank God.
There was, as a matter of fact, in the beta, there was a fun reference to it where, like, you could hear it playing on the broken jukebox in the background, like all slowed down and distorted, like "Hope for the future." I don't
There
know.
was a Paul McCartney song in the
That
first
was
one?
that was the ending credit song from Destiny.
Yeah. So the weird thing about it was, like, they clearly spent tons of money. Marty O'Donnell working with Paul McCartney to record this song, and then the only place it appeared was at the end credits for the story and nowhere else in the game. And people were like, that's kind of weird. But I think it had a big part to do with, like, their falling out with Marty O'Donnell, who was their composer for, like, all the Halo games.
Yeah.
And and at one point when they added the jukebox to the game in the tower in Destiny 1, one of the songs that could play was that song. And I think it was a bit of a joke. Also, it's a terrible song. It's really bad.
It is real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big joke for Destiny 1.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. So we're going to move into what we've been playing, and then we're going to sort of bang out a few quick topics. So, Drew, did you play anything else besides Destiny this week?
I installed Blood Bowl, but didn't play it. And I definitely didn't play Persona 5.
Yep.
Because all I played was Destiny.
That's all good.
Yeah. But I really wanted to finish it and get as much out before this podcast.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And that's kind of the I feel like we're going to play it all again this week, too. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Brock?
I played mostly Destiny and a little game I went in trying to hate but couldn't. Knack 2.
Okay, because I really wanted to talk about this because this was the game you couldn't talk about on last show. So we wanted to talk about that. So Knack 2 is not terrible.
I've had some time with Knack 2, and it is it's kind of enjoyable.
Yeah.
I found it pretty fun. It is extremely easy. Don't get me wrong. It like plays like a Lego game.
Right.
Like any of the Lego games. It is on that like par difficulty. But it's pretty good fun. It's probably the worst story of all year. There's no worst story I've ever seen.
Well, come on. It's
It is
Knack.
horrible. Knack is super unlikable. All the characters I wish they could die.
Does he still have a really dumb voice? He's like, he's like super deep and stuff.
All the characters suck. But the platforming like actions and like the quick time like stuff is really, really well done. And it's like a kid's Uncharted.
Nice.
And it really feels like Uncharted.
Or maybe more even apt to being like a kid's God of War game, essentially.
I get more of Uncharted.
I only
vibe.
thought about that because of the fact that it's merely content and it's a fixed camera, which
And
is also God of
I think
War.
one of the first things I complained to you guys about was like it is very slow to start. Like the first 4 hours are very incredibly boring because you don't have any abilities or anything.
Right.
Which is kind of annoying, and it takes too long to get into, and the fixed camera takes a lot to get used to.
Right.
Because I haven't played a fixed camera game in a long time,
Yeah.
especially in a platforming game. But it works. Like, there was very few times I was like, fuck, I can't see what I'm doing. And some of, like, the hidden secrets and stuff are, like, actually cleverly hidden and, like, difficult to find, which I think is kind of weird because kids aren't going to be able to get these, like, abilities, which you're going to have, which because they're probably going to miss them. because they're not easy to find. Yeah, and there's like, I don't know, it's kind of all over the place, and I hate saying I like it, but I really do like it.
I mean, it's a game that you kind of wanted to hate, but you were surprised.
And it's fucking long. It's like 16-hour storyline.
Wow.
I played a lot of Knack too.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause you
is
finished
very
it,
long.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I pretty much cleared everything I could. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to go back. I don't really want to play co-op.
Yeah, unless you wanted to play co-op, like it probably doesn't seem like a game that has a ton of replayability, but
So
it's also a budget game too. It's $50.
For the budget price, it can't go wrong. Like, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
here's an important question. I have two questions for you. One we actually brought up the last podcast, but I'm going to ask you now. Again, red Knack or blue Knack?
Red Knack.
Yeah, red Knack.
You can't be blue Knack unless
You're playing co-op.
Yeah.
And is junk made? Is his junk made of those weird?
I think it is.
bits?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. He there's one scene where his junk becomes extra large, and you can smack it down on enemies.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I wish that would be really funny though.
It'd be like that bat from Saints Row 4.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, the dildo bat.
Yes.
Remember when they mailed that to Game Journos?
Yeah.
But they sent that out.
That is hilarious.
It was
There
so
were
weird.
people that had to explain to their families why they had a giant purple dildo bat.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I want one.
Although, to be fair, the superior weapon in that game, let's face it, the dubstep gun was the best.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I also don't want people to get this wrong. Like, this game is definitely not for everyone. I just really was in the mood for like a really easy action.
It's a nice
platformer
change
game.
of pace because we haven't had a ton of those this year.
No, and everything like the platformers I have played, I've been really disappointed. Like Voodoo Vince and Ukulele.
Yeah.
I think I'm forgetting one that wasn't very good. So this was like surprisingly decent platformer.
Nice. And then, the only other game we're really getting like this before the end of the year is Lego Marvel Superheroes.
Whoa,
but that's
whoa.
not till November.
You forgot Super Lucky's Tale.
Oh, I forgot
The
about that.
yeah.
Xbox One Scorpio exclusive.
No, but that's more a 2D platformer, though. Whereas the Lego game is more of a 3D game.
It's only on the Xbox One X.
for now.
But
Well,
it's a
they're
3D.
on-
It's a
no.
platformer.
It's on
PC.
original Xbox One
Yeah.
and
Oh,
PC.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
I
just
thought- I
not on
was like,
PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, you scared me for
Or
a
on the
minute there.
Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Knack 2.
Knack 2 isn't that bad.
Like, don't
not as
rush out
bad.
and buy it, but it is pretty enjoyable.
Like, it's one of those games, too, where it's like, it's going to probably go down in price at some point, and if it
Yeah.
doesn't, $50 is still a good price for it.
Yeah, it is light years better than the first one.
Which is good to hear, because honestly, we were all like, kind of like, no one's going to care about this game. It
Yeah.
doesn't look great.
It has some serious like Ratchet and Clank vibes, like Jack and Daxter vibes, like
Cool.
the character model story.
Yeah. I kind of want to play it now. It sounds really cool.
It's really not that bad.
Yeah. Cool.
Path of Redemption from Mark Cerny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Knack 3, baby.
Yeah.
Already. It's never too early to announce that 3.
I bet it was gonna sell like hotcakes Christmas season for kids.
I actually
this
think
is
it's-
like an awesome kids game.
Yeah, I mean, the only downside is it came out the same day as Destiny, but they're different audiences, much different
completely.
audiences.
Yeah.
So I think that some parents are probably going to give it a chance. And as for me, I mean, I've mostly just been playing retro games this week. I mean, I've been playing Metroid 2, The Return to Samus. I beat it again this week just to sort of get ready for Metroid Samus Returns later this week. But yeah, like for the most part, that's sort of been my week in all Destiny pretty much. So let's move into topic number 3, LA Noire, a game that came out in 2011 is now getting a remake. So here's sort of the story behind this. Rockstar has announced that LA Noire is coming to Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One on November 14th. They also announced that a new HTC Vive exclusive version is coming with sort of original cases from the very first game. It allows you to play them in VR. So
Brock needs water. He's going to die.
yeah. We had to sort of let him go without letting him go on the table, but that's okay. We're going to keep going. There's also the Nintendo Switch version will feature an up-resed version of the original last-gen version of the game,
Yeah.
as well as touchscreen functionality, while the PS4 and Xbox One versions will have 4K visuals on PS4 Pro and Xbox One X.
No Connect integration on this one, eh?
No, surprisingly not. I mean,
That's a little weird.
so LA Noire, I've sort of said this before, and I kind of want to get your guys' takes as well on LA Noire. Is a game that I did not love. Like the facial techniques that they employed in that game were kind of cool. Like for those of you who at home who don't know what LA Noire is, it's sort of like a LA confidential style 1930s detective game where you sort of play as a detective and you have to solve a bunch of cases. And they use this cool technology where they scan people's faces It's basically almost like full motion video layered underneath like sort of computer generated faces.
And there's a bunch of familiar faces in there, like the guy from Mad Men.
Yep.
Yeah. There's some well-known actors in this, and yeah. So the facial animations look really, really great. There's kind of like an open worldy kind of a little bit where you can drive around.
That's the weakest
Anywhere?
part of the game. I
Yeah,
think, though.
100%.
And then there's like the whole like investigate the area kind of thing. Ultimately, the gameplay, the minute gameplay was not great.
Yeah.
It was
loved
cool. The stories were really awesome. I really loved how it was like each were like a different case and how like a bunch of those cases then tied together for like a real sort of like noir story that obviously somebody's up to no good and but yeah.
Because again, the story,
weird.
solving the cases was all about sort of reading the people you're interrogating or
Yeah.
questioning's faces, and then sort of discerning whether or not they're lying or not.
Yeah.
Which again, sometimes worked really well and sometimes didn't.
Yeah, like it really depended on like your interpretation of what they were doing, and sometimes it was really obvious that they were lying, and sometimes they were doing something really obvious that they were lying, but then they weren't. You know, so it was like sometimes it felt like a bit of a crapshoot. It's also a weird game that it's Rockstar who published this game, but they didn't develop it. They helped finish it, but it was a game that was being developed in Australia for years.
Team Bondi, I believe.
Team
they're-
Bondi, who then had a lot of problems after the game came out.
Who are now out of business.
They're completely defunct now. Yeah, and apparently, like they had like a really shitty working environment, and like a lot of people said the manager was a big jerk, and yeah. So
I love this game. I kept me up for like 2 nights. It's all I wanted to play, but I have no need to ever go back and play it ever again.
Yeah, like again, it's just like Knack 2. It's probably not a game with a lot of replay value.
No.
Really.
And this seems like a very weird title to bring to Switch.
Yeah, but it gives us hope though, because again, this is the first time Rockstar has been on a Nintendo system since Manhunt 2 on the Wii.
No, it was Grand Theft Auto, China Wars.
Chinatown Warriors?
Yeah.
I know they came out around the same time. I thought Manhunt 2 was later, but I could be wrong. But either way, that's still been like 10 years.
yeah.
Or
9
less.
years, I think, yeah.
Yeah, pretty close.
If you haven't played this game, depending on how it's priced, I'm pretty sure it would be worth playing.
Yeah, it's
You know,
And how it looks.
Yeah.
It's really going to depend on how good this remake is.
yeah, the version is actually priced differently on different platforms. Like the PS4 and Xbox One versions, I think are
$10 cheaper.
$50 here, and then it's $60 here on Switch.
that's still a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, for a
an
game
old
that's for an old game. Yeah,
You can pick that up for like $5.
Yeah.
EB Games always has that game in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's not a bad game, but it's not a great game.
It's a really weird thing. I would rather see,
It's an interesting experience to have.
Yeah.
To see that game and see it play. Yeah.
of all the games they could have like remastered and brought back, it seems weird to bring back LA Noire.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Rockstar. So one of the things Rockstar did was they basically bought all of Team Bondi's. Like they bought that facial tech from them. They bought a bunch of other things. They bought the game basically and all the rights to it whole hog. So I guess they have to do something with it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's always been a mystery. Is like, well, how are they going to integrate some of this facial animation technology into like the Grand Theft Auto games or something, or Red Dead or something? But we've never seen anything come of it. So.
I was gonna say because like the one game that came out after that from them, well, the 2 games were Max Payne and then Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really integrated in either one of those,
Yeah.
as far as we could tell. Anyways, like they might have taken some stuff away from it, but it's definitely not using the same technology from what we can tell. But this gives me hope that maybe this might mean if this does well enough on Switch that there might be a chance we might get Grand Theft Auto 5 on Switch, because that again, this is a port of a last gen game, and
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto is a last gen game. So that if it can run this, then it can run Grand Theft Auto
Yeah.
5.
Yep.
So I mean, bringing that to that platform might be really cool.
Yeah.
Can it though? Can it run an open world game such as that?
I would
yeah.
assume
Totally.
so.
Yeah. Yeah.
And come on, this
If you can
got
do
open world
Breath of
too.
the Wild, it
Yeah, I
can
was
do-
gonna say, yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't think open worlds are a problem. I think it's just a matter of assets. Because you also have to remember, LA Noire came on 3 Xbox 360
Yes,
discs.
it did.
And
Yes,
so did
it did.
And so did Grand Theft Auto 4.
Yeah.
Sorry, Grand Theft Auto 5. They came on the same number of discs.
Funny enough, I opened my case of that game the other day, and that had a great, beautiful instruction manual.
Yeah.
It was very, very big.
It probably had so many things to tell you about it.
It did.
Rockstar was one of the few companies that did that for a long time.
Plus, every open world game came with an in-game map, like an actual map,
Which
that
was
you
nice.
Remember
pulled out.
the subway map for 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like Grand Theft Auto 5 also came with like a physical map too.
Yep.
Which is
I
kinda
used to
cool.
hang those on my wall.
Yeah.
Yep. 3 was my fave.
Yeah. So I'm just hoping that this just while this is it seems like a weird choice, I hope this just means that we're going to get more ports like this.
I want
we're
Bully
gonna
on the
see more
Switch.
Yeah.
I love Bully.
Scholarship
or,
edition?
or Bully 2. Yeah, of course, Scholarship Edition.
Yeah.
I don't think they're ever doing a Bully 2.
I think they are. I think it's all but confirmed.
I think that once Red Dead's over, they're going to do Grand Theft Auto 6 and then they'll do something else after.
Though there was rumors of that other game that they announced for PS3, like way back in 2009.
Agent. Yeah, we heard about
Spy
Agent.
game,
Apparently
yeah.
it's coming around again, and there's rumors about it coming back.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was one of my predictions last year.
Really?
On game, one of our yearly predictions was that Agent would come back. Surprisingly, I got that wrong.
Do we know like anything about it?
No.
All we knew it was a Cold War open world game, and that was pretty much it.
And it was
Okay.
it was PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because since that fell through, it almost feels like they kind of owe Sony an exclusive because they signed an exclusivity deal for this game, and then it just never came out. But
New
Yeah.
Max Payne.
we'll see. All right, so we just got a couple more news stories before we wrap up. We only have like 2 or 3, which is kind of nice this week. But we got more Destiny 2 to talk about. If you thought our Destiny 2 talk was done, let me tell you what, we got a big leak about expansion pass number 1, which is kind of cool. So hot on the heels of release of Destiny 2, multiple leaks followed by a confirmation from Bungie, all but confirm the first expansion of Destiny 2's expansion pass will be called Curse of Osiris.
Yep.
Osiris was a character in Destiny 1, which we're going to talk about.
And he's actively mentioned in Destiny 2.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to go over there was a premature Xbox store listing, and I grabbed all the details from that listing, including what's going to be in this. So here are some of the features. Explore Mercury and its mysterious infinite forest. It has new story missions and adventures, new themed weapons, armor, and gear to earn new cooperative activities, and competitive multiplayer arenas. It continues the Guardian's journey with all new story missions and adventures on Mercury. There's more stuff I talked about. Journey through time and space to learn secrets of Osiris, avert a dark future, and rebuild the ties between the legendary warlock and his greatest student, Ikora Rey. There's also no release date on this listing, but Bungie said they're aiming for before the end of the year. So it
Yeah.
sounds like December, kind of like
I thought it was the first week of
Dark
December.
Below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
This is
Sounds
like
cool.
because this is the lore stuff that I want to hear about. Like they said that they were going to be exploring. So there's a lot of fan theories that the Exo Stranger, who is a character that was very involved in Destiny 1 story, is somehow involved with Osiris in the original sort of leaked story before they sort of like completely remixed Destiny's story and threw out a bunch of stuff and started again. The rumor is, according to Jason Schreier and his inside sources, the Exo Stranger was originally Osiris's assistant.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm hoping that because Luke Smith said, yeah, the Exo Stranger will come back, just not in the main game. But they're going to revisit that character at some point. So I'm hoping that the Exo Stranger sort of factors into this, and we get a little bit more of an understanding of who that character is and why they helped you in Destiny 1.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
It sounds really cool.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's some fun little Easter eggy kind of references to Osiris in Destiny 2. Go play the adventures, especially on Nessus, and you'll find out more.
Plus, we haven't really gotten to explore Mercury. Like, it was in the first game with the Vault of Glass, but it wasn't really like an explorable planet.
It was no, the Trials of Osiris.
Oh, right. That
Yeah,
was
it was if you got a flawless run in Trials of Osiris, then you got to go to the Lighthouse, which was a social area, but you could only go there if you and your fire team got a flawless run on
And
Trials.
that is also coming back, I think, actually, when Trials of Osiris comes back next month.
It's coming back much sooner, and it's now called Trials of the Nine.
Right.
Which is a reference to Zur and his people. By the way, no Zur this weekend.
Nope.
Zur doesn't come back until next weekend.
Yeah. Which is why no one has the trophy for meeting Zur.
So now this time though, the lighthouse will be a full-fledged social area like the farm is, or like
the other area that we won't talk about.
Well, the other area we won't talk about, and the mountain, like the mountaintop in, and then what was the other social? The reef in Destiny 1.
Right.
So it'll be a new social area, and then it sounds like for the first time, Mercury will actually be an explorable zone that's never happened before.
Right. And
Which is
that's
really cool.
That's where it sounds like all the new missions and stuff are going to take place. So that's cool. All right. Next news story. As per our news story last week, which Brock got very excited about, Wizards of the Coast has fully unveiled Magic the Gathering Arena. It's a free-to-play Hearthstone-esque game.
Yeah.
It follows all the same rules of Magic the Gathering, but the aim of the developers was to make a streaming-friendly interface. Because I don't know if you've ever wanted to watch a Magic online stream before, but God, that interface is ugly as fuck. So yeah, they wanted to make it sort of basically streamable because Magic Online is not very good for that. There's a closed beta coming later this year. And while the only announced platform at this time is PC, the developers on the stream said the game runs on Unity and they are looking to bring it to other platforms. They just couldn't confirm at that time that it was coming. It's on track currently for next year. And it will focus just on standard constructed and limited modes. So nothing like modern or legacy. It's just with the newest sets.
Which makes sense because you can't go get old cards. So then have to do the whole like Masters thing, Modern Masters thing, and that's a whole
Yeah,
thing.
it's a whole ball of wax. So
Yeah.
this is mostly just for the standard format, which is what most people play when they play Magic the Gathering. Like
Yeah.
people play modern and stuff, but it's super expensive to get into. But yeah, I think it looks pretty cool overall. Like a lot of people are saying it was like kind of ugly. I'm like, I kind of want to just reserve judgment on that till the final version's out. But
Did they give a date for it or just a window?
2018.
2018.
But the beta is coming in a few weeks because I signed up for it, hoping I'm getting it at some point.
I will sign up for it too.
But yeah, it's kind of cool. So yeah, next up, Gun Media has announced that both a map based on Friday the 13th Part 4 as well as a Jason skin to coincide with it are coming. As with all Friday DLC, it will be free and will be rolled into an upcoming patch. And no date has been given, but it's supposed to be in the next
What
couple
about their stupid spring break thing they're doing?
The stupid spring break thing you actually have to pay for because that's
Oh,
microtransactions.
Jesus. Great.
Yeah, well, they're just outfits, essentially.
Why are they releasing a spring break update in the middle of October?
Ooh, spring break.
Because it's spring breaks right now.
It is not spring break right now.
It's spring in Australia.
That's true. That's true. Okay,
I'm assuming the Australian kids do the same thing. They go to Cabo, get drunk, and have premarital sex.
I think the best thing you should do for that game is give it more money to play a broken game.
It's not broken now. It works
fixed
just fine.
They fixed it.
It's a fun game, and honestly, Friday the 13th Part 4, what's cool about this news is the best Friday the 13th movie. So it's cool that they actually finally have a map based off of that and a Jason to
You
coincide with
pretend like Jason in space never existed.
Jason X, yeah. That's an okay movie, but Friday the 13th Part 4, among Friday the 13th fans, widely considered the best one.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah.
It's also the first one with Tommy Jarvis, so maybe we'll get like a
Tommy.
what's his face skin.
You actually inspired me to rewatch the films, so
Yeah?
I've been doing that.
Yeah.
Well, Tommy's a
They're
kid.
so good.
It's-
Tommy's the kid in that one. Yeah.
That's when it.
Kid Tommy Jarvis.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Cool. And last news story, Blizzard has announced that Blizzard Arena is opening in Los Angeles on October 7th with the Overwatch Contenders Playoffs. It is a state-of-the-art arena dedicated entirely to esports, and it's really North America's first dedicated esports stadium.
That's crazy.
Essentially.
That's nuts.
So that's again,
Wow.
this project was announced last year, and we hadn't really heard anything about it. It's been under construction for a year now, and it's finally opening next month.
I guess you gotta play Dota somewhere.
Yeah.
You know.
They have it set up so there's you can have multiple there's multiple games going on because there's multiple control rooms and stuff like that. So it's cool that there's finally an esports venue in North America now that's dedicated just to that.
That's awesome.
So that's where all the Blizzard esports now is going to take place. So it's cool. All right, so now let's break down your new releases for this week, including Wise 8. And I'm going to try and butcher this. La Cromosa of Dana. Brock, you can say it.
Lacrimosa of Dana.
Yeah.
Sound terrible.
It rolls off the tongue really.
I also say Wise because as a joke, but it's actually Ease. So Ease 8 is out this week from our friends at NIS. It's an old school RPG.
Asshole.
Looks kind of cool. I'm hearing good things. Next up, Rayman Legends Definitive Edition comes to Switch.
Yep.
So
I'm gonna buy it for the 7th time.
I was gonna say this is the millionth port of that game.
Yeah.
The game that was once a Wii U exclusive.
Yeah.
It is so damn good.
Still really fun.
Yeah,
Yep.
especially if you've never
Really
played
fun.
it. I don't know necessarily if it's a game to double dip on because I don't know if the replay value is there for that. But honestly, it's another cool game on
constantly
Switch.
boot it up.
Yeah.
When I have nothing, I'm like, I don't know what to play. I always go to Rayman.
See, once I beat it once, Legends once, I've never gone back to it.
Ah,
It looks really
I
pretty.
beat it on the Wii U. I beat it on Xbox. I have it on PlayStation 4 for some reason.
Because you just have to have it on everything.
I just have to have it on everything. So you know I'm gonna buy it on the Switch.
The real question is, where's that Vita version? Don't you have the Vita version?
No, I do not have the Vita version, Ryan.
It's the best version, though. Anything that's on the PlayStation Vita is the best.
Yeah.
Next up,
Everyone knows that.
NHL 18 out this week. speaking of games I've been playing, I have been playing the EA trial version of this game.
There's a beta if you have access, right?
It's not a beta. It's just the game's out this week, so it's on EA Access trials,
Right.
as well as another game we're going to talk about in a second. But it's really fun. Like I like the hockey this time around. They didn't tune too much, but they did add a cool new mode because there's a new team in the NHL this year called the Vegas Golden Knights. So what they decided to do was built into the franchise mode this time, you can create your own team and you can basically customize everything from the stadium they play in to the concession stands to its mascot to all kinds of cool stuff.
Can you call your team not something fucking stupid like the Golden
You
Knights?
can literally call it whatever you
That is
want.
a really dumb name.
Yeah.
You can literally call it whatever you want it to be, which is kind of cool. And then basically what you can do is you can take it through the franchise mode as it goes through the expansion drafts. So you draft players that are not protected by their teams, which is what they do whenever a new team comes in the NHL. So it's kind of cool because they haven't done that since NHL 2001, because that was the first year when the Columbus Blue Jackets and Minnesota Wild came into the league. So that's kind of cool how they do that.
Look how well that went.
Yeah, there's no story mode though. I'm bummed out because in every EA sports game this year, there's like a story mode like the Long Shot or the FIFA one or the NBA Live one. This is the only major franchise that they have, sports franchise they have that doesn't have that yet.
Which will mean
I
I
kinda-
will not be buying
I
it.
hope that next year they do that because it would be cool if there was like a Mighty Ducks-esque like hockey story. Like that would be so cool. All right. Speaking of EA, NBA Live 18 also out this week. There's also a trial for that. I haven't downloaded, but I haven't played it yet. Next up, Divinity Original Sin 2 comes out on PC this week. Divinity Original Sin is actually kind of a fun action RPG. It's very similar to Diablo, although it's a little more hardcore than that.
It's a little bit more Baldur's Gate than it is Diablo.
Yeah, like it's less just clicky, and more like strategizing kind of thing.
Clicky.
No, because
Are you just suggesting that Diablo is just a clicker? It's just a clicker game, like cookie clicker.
Is that not what that game is?
That's fair.
When you play that game on PC, literally you would just do this with your mouse finger.
That is very accurate.
Demon clicker.
For those of you listening to the audio podcast, I'm moving my finger up and down, signifying that clicking noise.
Rapidly.
Yeah, that's kind of what you do in that game.
Y'all gotta double click the mouse.
Clicky.
That's why it was so nice.
Hey.
That's why it was so fine to play that on consoles because you didn't have to click anymore. You just press the A button instead.
Well, at least we're not talking about dicks anymore.
We gotta do that too. All right. Next up, Dishonored: Death of the Outsider comes out this week.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Could possibly be the final Dishonored thing. I don't know. Like the Dishonored 2 did not sell well. Neither did the first one. Like I don't know if they're gonna keep going with this
I
franchise.
love Dishonored, but I have like no intention of playing this.
It's either that or another Prey game. I don't know.
I would rather Dishonored.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like Prey. I want to see what they're gonna do with that. If they're gonna do anything with that.
Yeah. Dishonored.
Should we pray for a new one?
Well, let's not get too crazy.
Yeah. Death of the Outsider looks like it's gonna be kind of cool for Dishonored fans. But yeah, I'm like you. I'm not really excited about it. I also couldn't really get into Dishonored 2. Like I got halfway through it and I'm like, this game's just not grabbing me. So just too bad. Next up, Pro Evolution Soccer 2018.
Yes, yeah.
Konami finally releases another video game. Get hyped. That's not a pachinko machine.
No,
it's actually a soccer game.
This is not a pachinko machine.
Yeah. Last but not least, get hyped, motherfuckers. This Friday, Metroid Samus Returns comes to the 3DS. Drew, it's finally happening. A 2D Metroid game is coming out on Friday.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
Not for a major console, but what can you do?
It's been 12 years, though, since the last one.
I'll take anything at this point.
Yeah.
If they sent me a cardboard cutout of Samus, I would have been like, okay, that's good enough.
Yeah.
At this point,
5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Cardboard cutout.
Very cardboard,
Yeah.
very good.
We're also getting some cool amiibo this week as well with the Samus Aran new amiibo and the Metroid amiibo breaking out of its cage.
Is that the squishy Metroid?
It is the squishy Metroid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have mine coming on Friday. I'm
Nice.
really excited to break those open. There will be a video about that on Game Moose's YouTube channel this week.
Woo.
So check that out.
Squishy.
Also, last thing that's coming out this week as well that I left off here, but I remembered as we were talking about Amiibo that's coming out this week, the final wave of LEGO Dimensions is out this week.
Yes, it is. Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, that's right.
And
Yeah.
Beetlejuice and Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Well, Teen Titans Go.
Teen
But-
Titans Go. Yeah.
But it's Teen Titans at least.
Powerpuff Girls.
But none of it's story content, so it's really just it's fun packs and team packs this time. So there's not a new story pack or a what the other packs were called, the level packs.
And this could be our very final Lego Dimensions packs.
It could be.
Ever.
Yeah.
What a great ride, though, for Lego Dimensions, because honestly, from top to bottom, I love Lego Dimensions. I think it's a fantastic game. I wish they would be able to keep doing it. I understand why they can't. Like, I almost hope that even if they don't continue with the physical toys to life Lego Dimensions, I think the campaign for Lego Dimensions was, like, probably the best Lego campaign, and I would love to see them just do even just a regular Lego-esque game, but you like sort of integrating the other universes like Lego Dimensions.
You can't see this, but I keep looking over at Ryan's Lego Dimensions collection. He's got like almost every single character over there, if not every single one. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
I'm missing some, including these ones that are coming out this week. Because
There's a Cyberman, and there's a Slimer, and he's got a sausage in his hand.
and then there's a Shaggy, and then some Finn from Adventure Time.
Finn.
Voldemort.
Yep.
So much.
Batman. Yeah, there are a lot, but yeah, I loved sort of the way those franchises interacted with each other in the story. Like they did that so well that I wish that they would continue with that idea. So even if they don't do the physical toys again, I do hope that they learn from that idea and do more with it. Okay, so that's sort of everything that's going on in video games this week. But before we go, Drew Plugs go.
One last time, go to the Game Moose YouTube channel. You can go to game-moose.com/video, and you can check out the video version of this podcast, and you can see the first episode of RoboFlix where I talk about RoboCop. I really like RoboCop.
Yep. There'll also be a Metroid unboxing on Friday.
Sweet.
So get hype, motherfuckers.
Also, come out and meet me at Farside in Toronto and watch some old episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation with me.
On
and
tape.
Have some drinks. That's tomorrow. That's September the 11th.
Yep. Monday, September 11th.
Monday, September 11th. Tomorrow in the evening.
Yeah. Now, mind you, again, the video of this comes out on Monday morning, so I mean, it's really not tomorrow; it's today.
Yes, if you're watching this on Monday, September 11th, then go today. Go this evening.
Do it.
Put
Go
on
have
some
some drinks.
pants and come see Drew.
That
I
sounds
don't
like a
think
lot
you
of
have to put
effort.
pants on.
Nah, you don't have to put pants on.
No, but like, don't expose your genitals because you'll get arrested.
What?
I'm not going to tell you how to do fashion. But just keep your junk in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brock, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter
Yep.
at Brock MC Laughlin.
Yeah.
You can find me at brockstargaming.com.
With cool reviews like Knack too.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
you wrote a
I think I said on the show if I like Knack too, I'd eat a shoe. So I probably owe people at home.
that's a nice video.
Me
that's gonna
eating a
happen at some
shoe.
point. Also, you wrote about Destiny 2 as well, like sort of your like review impressions, I guess.
No. I just posted what the month calendar was,
Well, okay,
and then I said I fucking love the game.
it's happening.
Yeah. And then you can find me.
You're making up an account. This
I got
week.
nothing. I
You're
got
out.
nothing today.
We finally
Yeah.
tapped you out of ideas.
Yeah.
Also, you can find Drew McMillan on Twitter at DMcMill.
Yes, you can.
You forgot to say that.
Yeah, I did.
I want people to be able to find you on Twitter. Drew.
Yes, please. Tweet at me.
You can find me eating Chinese food in my bed after this.
Yeah.
Just playing Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watching BoJack Horseman.
Yeah. A little General Tso's and some fresh Bojack.
And having some tears fall into my chicken chow mein.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
As for me,
No, lo mein?
No, chow mein.
mein.
Yeah, I fuck with the chow mein.
Okay.
it's too much.
Sure.
Last but not least, you can find me on Twitter at Ryan Turford. That's TURFORD. You can find us at game-moose.com, as well as my Metroid Samus Returns review, which is actually coming after the game launches. So it'll probably be like Monday
Hopefully.
or Tuesday of the next week. Just
However
depends on
long it
I
takes
can
for
finish.
Ryan to finish the game.
Honestly, I'm probably just going to plow through it the whole weekend because, like, I have the day off Friday and Saturday. The game comes out on Friday, so I'm going to probably finish it by Sunday.
Cool.
Yeah. So there's that going on. I'm also going to be talking about some cool stuff on next week's show. So look out for that. I don't want to tease anything yet, but that's happening. And last but not least, you can find Game Moose on Facebook at facebook.com/GameMoosePodcast, and as well on Twitter at Game_Moose_cast. You can find our tweets there as well, but all the cool things that are coming.
I got one more plug.
What's that?
What's that? Who?
I don't know
What's that? Who?
Why did I call you Drew?
What's that? Who?
Oh my
We went
God.
so much alike, it's easy to get
If you're playing Destiny on PlayStation, you can add Ryan.
My account's fresh_obsessed. Please let us change our names.
And Drew on Xbox is,
Robozool.
And I'm
it's ROBOZUUL.
and I'm simply Brock McLaughlin.
Yep.
Yeah.
You also find Sean Capri on Xbox
Yes.
at just Sean Capri.
Come fire team with us.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys got a full fire team on
We do.
Xbox. You just need 3 more people to do the raid. They're set.
We got 3 more people. Don't worry. Narcats we run deep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Rar.
Never do that again. It turned me on too much, Ryan. I'm having weird feelings towards you now.
It's fine. All right. So for Drew McMillan and Brock McLaughlin, I'm Ryan Turford. This has been episode 93 of the Game Moose Podcast. We're only 7 weeks away from 100. Woo! And we're out.